It's 7:45. The news is coming up at 8 o'clock.
Tech Talk with Ray and Alex. Looking at the world of IT from those who know, looking at you, Alex, and those of us who don't. Over to you, Ray.
Yeah, over to me, Ray. Ray, who doesn't know. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Ray.
It is Alex Zaharov-Reutz, man with the computer. He's the technology editor of ITWire.com. You were busy yesterday. You went to the ASCCA conference. They held it after all.
Well, actually, no, it's coming on the November the 10th. So there's still 5-6 weeks to go.
Oh, it hasn't been held yet?
No. I wanted to let everybody know so that they could come along. It's online. Normally, so what is ASCCA? ASCCA is the Australian Seniors Computer Clubs Association. It's been around for 22 years.
Yep.
And what it does is it helps to educate seniors in the use of technology to enrich their lives and help make them more reliant and, bridge the generation gap and empower them. And, of course, in 2020, we've had the need for technology more than ever. I mean, thank God we had the NBN able to help us with watching iView and Netflix, help us do the online learning, help us do all the Zoom conferences. But a lot of people don't understand this. Only 75% of seniors are using the internet or mobile devices and technology sort of on a regular basis. And that leaves a quarter of the 7.9 million Australians aged 50 or over who are sort of only either not using the internet at all or just a few apps or a few websites. And these days, so much of our lives are online. And normally, ASCCA has their yearly conference in Sydney, but of course with many lockdowns, the state closures, it's all going to be online. And we'll have people like Charlie Brown, a very popular tech commentator who's a conference regular. There's a gentleman called Scott Hollier. He's the co-founder for the Centre for Accessibility, and he's vision impaired. And so he uses all the accessibility features to listen to things. But your phone, your tablet, your computer can read things, can make the text bolder, can make the fonts bigger. And there's all sorts of accessibility features that people don't know are there that can make their lives right now easier than it has been in the past. We'll have Google, we'll have the president of Awesome, the 40-year-old Apple User Society of Melbourne, and they have a tutorial about GarageBand. There are people there who I was at their conference listening. They have a monthly Zoom meeting on the first Saturday of the month. In fact, we'll have one today. And they were showcasing what some of their members had done with GarageBand. And some of their members said that they had no musical aptitude whatsoever until they started looking at GarageBand. And after learning how to use it, some of the compositions that people had made were extraordinary, and can all be done from your computer. So I'll be the conference MC, and I'm always the closing keynote speaker, showcasing cool, interesting technologies and showing you how to use your phones and technologies better. And it's all online. It's all on Zoom.
So you mean that we can join in on this?
Anybody can join in. It's from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We'll have people from across Australia tuning in.
Yep.
It's $15 a ticket. The ASCCA is a non-profit registered charity. Nobody makes any money out of it. It's all people helping people. And we represent about 100 computer and tech clubs across Australia who are members of ASCCA and get resources. And I'm now a director since November last year. They invited me to come and help them. So, hopefully we can remind people about this conference sort of, in the next few weeks. But it's a great event. It'll be day long, and you can tune in, tune out as you want. But there'll be excellent speakers showcasing actionable knowledge that you can use right now. And the theme is living your best online life. So the website is ascca.org.au, ASCCA.org.au.
All right. The biggest fear for seniors is fear itself that they're going to do something wrong and blow it all into cyberspace. And that doesn't really happen, does it? And if it does, well, start again.
There's usually an undo button, so normally you can undo whatever it is you've done. And then, often just turning it off and turning it back on is a very easy solution. I saw a book from Intel. Intel are the guys who make the computer chips in most of the PCs that people buy. And this was a little book trying to explain computers. And it started off with a little comic where this person was in a shop and they were expressing that same concern. Oh, what happens if something goes wrong? And they push the button, and the next thing, both of them are looking outside and this nuclear explosion is going off in the distance. But, of course, that doesn't happen. And, technology is our friend. It's not our enemy. All that Terminator stuff is just sci-fi. It'll be decades, if not hundreds of years before they figure out how to do AI properly. The threat from AI is the threat from like a 3-year-old kid having a tantrum. It's just not a big problem at the moment.
Oh, don't worry, I have little tanties here. I've got 1 screen, 2 screens, 3, 4 screens surrounding me. Now, I was brought up without technology. I mean, we used to use an abacus. That was technology. And so many others in my age group just didn't get it, whereas today kids are taught from maybe first year in school. They're given a tablet. They start on computers. Well, before they go to school, they're playing around with tablets and games and all the rest of it. But yeah, I really get it why seniors don't get it. It is hard work. It's hard work for me here. I mean, my screens go haywire, and Shane comes in and rescues it, and it's just a mess. Listen, I got to ask you a couple of things, and first of all, give everyone an opportunity to join in. So, if you've got an issue with your computer, or if you crashed it, or you think you've done something horribly wrong, maybe we can sort it out. 0467 842 722. That's our text number. You send us a text and tell us just simply what it is, and I'm sure Alex will be able to sort it out. He's the computer doctor. Now, the NBN. You mentioned that, and I think we mentioned last week about the NBN. They're going to roll out more funds and goodness knows what, but it's held up pretty well considering this year it's been a real change. People are working from home. Kids from not going to school, they've been working from home too, and that's chewing up the megabytes. But the NBN seems to cope all right.
Yeah, the ACCC has put out a report. They've got a Measuring Broadband Australia report, and they detail the results of how the network coped during the height of the pandemic, which was sort of from May to June. I mean, I know we've had a bit of a resurgence in Victoria since, but that May to June was really when there were big problems, and the NBN company itself increased the network capacity by 40% for the entire country, for all of the providers out there, and that actually has been extended until the 30th of November. And the network held out well. People were able to watch their streaming services. Even the slowest NBN connections of 12 megabits were able to support at least one high-definition stream. And if you had faster plans, then multiple people could watch multiple high-definition or 4K streams at the same time. And now when we're doing online learning and Zoom conferences, the ability to send the information and upload, whatever the other person is seeing of you is very important. Before the NBN, the upload speeds were very slow. But after the NBN, upload speeds are 10 to 20 times faster, which means that you can send a high-definition picture back to somebody else rather than just being able to receive a high-definition picture. And one of the things that really helped to lower the underperforming services was people making sure that their modems were in an open spot. They weren't hidden away. They weren't stuck behind books or on a bookshelf. They were open, and they were much more easily able to broadcast the Wi-Fi signal. And some people also had to improve their in-home wiring. But people did that, and they've been getting... The NBN has held up, and thank God for that.
Okay, 7 to 8 is the time. News is at 8 o'clock, and you're listening to Alex Zahoff-Reutz, the IT specialist from itwire.com, and I've got some texts here. Now, Gary in Mulwala, he says, I received a set of noise-cancelling headphones for my birthday, and I really enjoy them. But, hey, how does it work, Alex?
Well, it's using frequency to cancel out the other sounds that are being made. Now, you've got, for example, when you're on a plane, and wouldn't we all love to be on a plane again, but you've got the hum of the engine. And so the noise-cancelling headphones are generating a frequency or a sound that is opposite to that. And so the two sounds are cancelling each other out. But it doesn't work, for example, or it doesn't work as well when you've got a high-pitched baby crying, for example, in a different part of the plane. You can still hear that. So noise-cancelling headphones, I mean, if you go to Wikipedia or Google, you'll find a much more in-depth description, and I'm sure there'll be animations. But the noise cancellation technology has gotten better and better. Different brands of headsets offer a different percentage of noise cancelling, but it's very common today. Even cheap headsets you can buy in supermarkets can offer this technology. And if you haven't tried it out, do, because it's really good. Okay.
Now, here's Mary in Numurkah. I think Mary's in my category too. She's one of our seniors. And she says, I want to really get involved in photography. What sort of camera should I be looking at?
Well, they always say that the best camera you've got is the one you already have. And so Mary might have a smartphone with a camera on there. And, of course, the benefit of having a camera on your smartphone is that you can do editing and you can do other things directly to the image, directly with the device in your hand. You don't have to copy it to a computer and, learn how to use computers if you've got a smartphone of any sort. Otherwise, the digital SLR cameras from Canon and Nikon and others are also, the traditional way and an excellent way of doing photography. There are often photography courses and classes that teach you about the f-stops and the different types of lenses and zooming and framing photos. I mean, there are online classes. In some cities there are classes where people get together and they walk around and they're taking photos of various things and then coming back and looking at the photos and learning about that. So I would look online and I would, either start with a smartphone or have a look at an inexpensive digital SLR. You can also find these on second-hand as well as new. They're not expensive, and go from there.
All righty. Do you know anything about or heard of anything about EasyMesh technology?
Yes. Well, EasyMesh is a networking standard that creates a new type of Wi-Fi network in the home. In the past, people have had a Wi-Fi modem, and then they noticed that in the far corners of their home or in certain parts of the house, the connection was either non-existent or patchy or unreliable. And that's because people have double brick homes, bigger homes, or they have appliances and things that can, interrupt and interfere with the signal. And people used Wi-Fi extenders and bridges and other things to try and expand that network. But mesh networking technology uses different nodes. So they look like little modems, and you put them in different parts of the house, and they join together to create one big mesh of your Wi-Fi network around the house. And
but they've been around for a long time.
Well, they have been around, but it's taken a long time for them to come to retail. I mean, I remember reading about them 10 years ago, but you couldn't buy them. They just had these extenders which extended the network, but they gave it a different Wi-Fi name, and then your device had to be smart enough to flick from one to the other. And personally, I found that they never really worked that well. But when Wi-Fi mesh networks started appearing over the last couple of years, I've tested different ones from the major brand names, and they work. In parts of the house where I could not get a solid connection, once I set the mesh network up, it worked. And to set it up, it's just an app on your phone. It's guiding you. It's showing you the signal strength, and it's very easy. And I mean, even so much so that one of Australia's largest internet providers is now offering this technology with their modem, so you can actually contact them and say, right, well, I need some of your brand of mesh network nodes to go with the modem you've sold me, and that is something that they were the first Australian telco to do it. Now, this one happens to be Telstra, and they're using this thing called the smart. They're guaranteeing wall-to-wall Wi-Fi coverage, and they have this EasyMesh nodes, and they can give you up to 4 of them, and they even guarantee if it doesn't work, they'll refund you. But, I have tried different mesh networks. I've helped people set them up, and in places where we didn't have good Wi-Fi before, suddenly it's switched on. And these things are anywhere from $200 to $500 to buy, and they really change the quality of the Wi-Fi in your home, and definitely worth checking out.
All right. We've got 2 minutes to go before news at 8 o'clock, and Jo in Benalla, she's about to buy a new TV. She says, what type of TV should I be looking for in today's age for quality and price? Because, it's still coming up on the screen. You can buy a really big TV for $500, then you look and you see $3,000. And it's all the same TV, really, isn't it?
Well, yes and no. The more expensive TVs have a chip inside that can do better processing of the image, of the picture that you see before your eyes see it. So there's a standard called HDR, which delivers much richer colors when you're watching Netflix or a Blu-ray or some device that can send this extra colorful information. There are also TVs with higher refresh rates, so sports look smoother and more realistic. But the quality of TVs has improved and the price has come down dramatically. Really, you should get one that's got a smart TV facility that has various apps, YouTube or Netflix. Some of them come with all the Australian TV stations as well, including ABC. Usually some of those are, probably closer to the $1,000 mark or more. But I've seen, big TVs in supermarkets for $600-700, and if you buy one that doesn't have this smart TV, you can just buy Amazon Fire TV Stick, Apple TV, Google Chromecast, and there's a bunch of these little gadgets you can buy that turns any TV, even 10-year-old TVs, into smart TVs.
Wow. Hey, that's good. I'm going to catch up with you next Saturday morning. We'll talk more about techie stuff, computers, photography, and all the rest of it. Have a great week, Alex.
You too, Ray. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
And that was Alex Zaharoff, Reuters technology editor with itwire.com. News is next, and then it's AM on ABC Goulburn Murray.
ABC Radio, it's yours.
Yours for all things local.
Yours brought to you by local people based in your local bureau.
Yours for locals by locals.
ABC Goulburn Murray.